God is about to do something really miraculous through you.
I'm willing to make a bet that none of you guys have actually heard of this film. I came across a few random tweets about it, and after watching the trailer, just immediately bought it on Amazon because I knew that I wanted to make a video about it. For the most part, most Christian films are like just really boring, and they have a few just like hilarious bad moments in it. This one is the exception. This one's just crazy. But let's just get into it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Also, this video is going to spoil the entire film, so if you do want to watch it, you should stop and go watch the film first, or you can watch it afterwards. So this is our first main character. His name is Brant. Brant's character in this film is just tortured from the first minute until the very end of the film. Like, we couldn't help but laugh at just how miserable Brant was throughout the whole film. I mean, the film opens with him watching his family explode. Love how they're struggling to pull him away from the explosion, and then in the overhead shot, they're just standing there waiting. Now we get into our stars of the film, which are Ram and Amy. They're just some cute little nerds taking a really hard test.
Your parents?
Yeah. Don't worry, they're not home.
Well, that's a relief. No telling what we might get into.
Okay, kids, are we still watching a Christian film?
We're just praying.
Uh-oh. When worlds collide, Ram the awkward nerd, Amy the awkward Christian, what will happen?
Wait, I don't...
Just a dinner prayer.
It's just a dinner prayer. They go on to do some other regular first date stuff, like Amy shows Ram how to walk cool. Cut immediately back to Brant, who's drinking himself into a dark depression, about to kill himself. We flash forward, and it looks like they passed the test. They're on this team working on a teleportation device for this guy named Ahmed. We're introduced to the other people on their team, Simon and Felix. Felix's character, for some reason, they gave him the backstory of really loving a stuffed penguin named Happy. We can only assume is a Happy Feet reference.
Every time you pray and nothing ever happens.
Don't mock me.
You're right. I'm sorry.
The argument is literally, praying doesn't work, you idiot. Don't mock me. I'm sorry, you're right. They run another test on their teleportation device, but it explodes. So Brant works for Ahmed as the security detail for the company.
Sir, I don't think it's smart to have Sabir in charge of anything.
Sabir is a private security guy for the company, and Brant and him do not like each other.
When I lost my parents.
We get a little backstory on Ahmed that his parents were actually killed by extremists. You might be wondering how the film will depict these extremists.
Glory to Allah!
But then Ram and Amy find out that Ahmed is FaceTiming the top terrorists in the world. Not a good look. And they're planning to use it to like send bombs all over the world and stuff.
Extremists killed Ahmed's parents. Why would he work with them?
It must be Stockholm Syndrome.
You would think that this is just like the characters don't know why he's working with them yet. But this is all the explanation that's ever given. Just a few minutes ago, we showed that Ahmed's parents were killed by extremists. And now they're like, why is he working with them? Good question. The only explanation we're given is Ram saying, must be Stockholm Syndrome. But they decide they have to wait to call the FBI until later because their calls are probably being traced. But then right after that, Ram figures out how to make the machine work. Instead of just like holding back on that information for a day until the terrorists are all arrested, Ram decides to just go for it and do it in a secret way. So much for being a genius, Ram. This movie is kind of full of moments like this where it just is like something happens because it has to happen, not because it makes sense or anything. Not only did he create a teleportation device, but also a time traveling device. Then they say, well, we'll kill your parents if you don't help us. This is where the film starts to go a lot harder than I expected it to go.
No! One! Shoot the father!
So many people die in this film.
Shoot the mother!
Ram says, okay,
If you let me go back in time and save my parents, then I will finish the time machine.
you need these bracelets in order to come back. Ram tries to dive into the time machine and completely fails. Ram's not that great with coming up with plans. Like, he's already just giving these terrorists everything they need.
You thought that I would keep my word for a split second?
Ahmed's a classic bad guy here. So now Ahmed's got a much more dope idea than just sending bombs all over the world. He's gonna go back and kill Jesus.
And we will be effectively dismantling Christianity.
So they send a little SEAL Team 6 back in time to go kill Jesus. No biggie. Not really sure how they knew the exact day and minute that Jesus was praying before getting crucified. And right as the Romans are coming to take Jesus away, they go in and kill everybody.
This is for taking my family.
And this was a moment that I did not expect to happen in this film. I never expected this movie to go this hard. We have Brant, who was a Christian a few weeks ago, so mad at God, saying, "This is for killing my family," and shooting Jesus point blank in the face twice. When we watched this for a few moments, we were like, is this actually a Christian film? But while all this is happening, our scientist squad help free Ram, and they go back in time to the same point. Obviously now they're a little too late, and Jesus is already getting shot. And then Ram realizes what they're doing.
It's the ultimate jihad. Eliminate Christianity by killing Jesus before the resurrection.
Before you get into this is where the film starts to get very confusing, because there's 3 or 4 timelines going on. Basically how it works is they're saying if you go back in time and kill Jesus, it's gonna take some time for that to catch up with the current timeline. Jesus getting killed won't affect history for another few minutes, but their plan is to split up, go back to the present day, and then go back 10 minutes before so they can kill the guys who are coming to kill Jesus and stop the ultimate jihad.
1:20 a.m. now.
We came back before we left?
If we were gone for 30 minutes, we should have roughly returned around 2:20 a.m.
Wait, daylight savings time. It started tonight.
Very convenient. Again, there's so many moments in the film that rest on just these insane things that happen. Basically, the whole plot doesn't work if they didn't do this on daylight savings time, because getting sent back an hour early means that now there's 2 copies of them in the same time, and Amy can explain to other Amy everything that's going on before they get killed. So now Simon and Felix are going to go back, but then Simon's bracelet malfunctions, and now is where having killed Jesus catches up to the present day.
Allahu Akbar!
I'm not sure why this happens exactly. It's very confusing, but yeah, so basically they go to a paradise for a few seconds, and then the world's destroyed. What I can only assume is because they killed the disciples a few seconds before they killed Jesus. I think that means that if they just killed the disciples, the earth would have turned into a paradise, but then once they killed Jesus, it did turn into an apocalyptic nightmare. Doesn't make sense. Don't know why they put that in here, but that's my theory. So now the second group that Amy signaled, they go back in time a few minutes before the SEAL Team 6 gets there, and they put sticks where they're gonna appear so that they appear on the sticks and die. Simon and Felix get killed, and Amy gets shot. Ram takes off his clothes to stop the bleeding on Amy. Peter chases Sabir with the sword, and Sabir loses his gun. Not sure why Sabir didn't shoot Peter. While the other version of Simon did just get shot, this version of Simon is still stuck in the past because his thing doesn't work and he's trying to mess with it. He gets transported back a few hours and over to where Jesus is. This is just another classic.
Deus Ex Machina.
No speako Greco?
Jesus gives Simon this super annoyed look.
Has my father sent you?
What? You speak English?
So now they make this big deal about no one understanding English except Jesus, but then what happened with that flashback where all the terrorists were speaking English?
Glory to Allah.
And then he beats you, and then
How do you know all these things?
I'm from the future. And I've seen your movie.
Simon refers to this as Jesus' movie.
We got it on bootleg. Forgive me, Lord, I'm sorry.
I kind of like that joke.
And if you had finished my movie, you would know that I'll be back.
That ain't even your movie.
And then it is biblical canon now that Jesus does take ownership of Passion of the Christ as his movie. So Ram's trying to fix the time continuum and get the gun away from the Roman soldier. While he's running away, they rip off his clothes. And I love that they add in this little have this little smacking sound when he pulls his underwear down. It looks like Ram's wearing underwear under his boxers. Guess Amy still has some work to do on his style choices. So remember, Jesus didn't die in this timeline because they killed everyone with the sticks except Brant and Sabir. So Brant and Sabir are still trying to kill Jesus.
No guns. It's recon only.
Okay, so I can see why Brant was like, don't put Sabir in charge of anything. This is how he steals something. Just literally walks up and grabs it, not even trying to be sneaky, not even kind of like bumping the table or anything.
Just a tomato.
Come on, man, it's just a tomato. Of all the foods to steal, why would you steal a tomato? That's like, he's like eating it like an apple, but it's a tomato. Also did a quick Google search. Tomatoes were native to like North and South America until the 16th century. So Jim, maybe next time just do a quick Google search before you decide what they should be eating during this time period. So Brant wants to do a recon mission. 30 seconds in, Sabir steals a tomato, gets the attention of everybody, shoots a Roman soldier, and now they're caught. There's been a lot of Deus Ex Machinas, but this one is by far the most flagrant and just the worst. So the Roman soldier picks up the gun, walks over to Sabir, takes off his bracelet, and is just like, I guess I'll put this on the gun and start poking stuff. So yeah, that whole scene just makes no sense. So now Simon offers to help Jesus with the cross. You get a little gold star if you saw this coming, my little Sunday school children. But yes, Simon helps Jesus with the cross to match the verse where a guy named Simon helps Jesus with the cross. Very clever, Jim. So Ram brings Amy up. He's trying to find someone who can fix this bullet wound. He comes up to the group that is standing in front of the crosses, somehow not seeing the crosses.
No, I said I need a doctor!
It's like, Ram, can't you remember that no one speaks English? Ram's asking Jesus to save her, and here's where we get another big old plot twist.
You're wasting your time.
Sabir. Sabir's getting crucified too. Uh-oh, and Brant's the other thief.
And you're asking him for help.
Shut up, Sabir!
So our little Deus Ex Machina gun shows back up in present day, but there are no other time retrievers, so Ahmed decides to go back by himself. Again, I have no idea how they know the exact coordinates of all these places. Like, oh, I can transport myself inside of Jesus's tomb. Playing Russian roulette over here, just transporting themselves willy-nilly into these small places. Like, if he just did a foot over, would he just like transport himself into the rock?
Just getting a little DNA for my lab.
This plot point was never talked about again. I don't know why they added it in. So as Jesus is resurrecting, Ahmed goes back to the present day. Jesus shows up to say hi to Amy before she dies. I kind of expected him to save her, but okay.
It's time for my own resurrection.
Wait. You're not leaving me behind.
It looks like Ram was just about to leave Simon behind and just like leave him in the past forever. So Simon gets shot, but now Ram's gonna go back before his mom and dad died to try and like fix everything. Ahmed calls Brant, says that Ram is trying to kill him, and Brant runs in without any weapon drawn or seemingly any plan at all.
Send me to my family. Shoot me.
Classic Brant over here begging to die. Then the parents run in, and Dad's got a gun. The terrorists run in, they have guns. Ahmed pops out, shoots Ram in the back. Dad's gun is gone now. Ahmed shoots Dad. Brant realizes these are some bad boys, shoots the terrorists. Ahmed shoots Brant, but then Ram stabs Ahmed. We got just a crazy finale. Also looks like Brant's paralyzed now, which seems pretty par for the course.
Urgent.
Everyone lay down your weapons.
Brant says urgent, and these guys immediately run in. Like, they couldn't have been standing more than 3 feet outside the door, but just were like, I hear some gunshots, but I want them to have their privacy. I won't do anything until he says urgent in his thingy. So this Ram dies, but the old Ram shows up. Like I said, even if you watch the whole film, it's a little confusing to like try and figure out all the different timelines going on. Cut back to Brant, classic, just suffering, completely paralyzed now. We saw his family die, him contemplating suicide, getting crucified, begging to die, and now being completely paralyzed. Really makes you feel bad for Brant. But don't worry. Ram goes back and stops them from getting in the accident, puts a little note saying that everyone's terrorists and to go stop them, so that time travel's never even invented. I did not realize how hard that was going to be explained, but yeah, this movie's very complex. Some of the parts are like decently written. The biggest downfall is just all of the things that don't make sense that they just shove into the film. overall, very fun to watch. They just go full out, and I like that. And yeah, like I said, there's a few other Christian films that I've seen that are pretty crazy as well, so maybe I'll review those some other time in the future. So subscribe if you want to see anything more like this, and I'll see you guys next week.